Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are painting cactus blossom, and I know that that is kind of different than what we've been doing before, but I love cacti. They have such a pretty blossom, so I thought it would be fun to add to our watercolor flower guide. So let's get into it. First of all, there are so many different types of blossoms, so definitely look up a reference picture and find one that speaks to you. For this one, it has a lot of really small pointed petals, very triangular in shape. I'm really using the tip of my brush to create these really pointed petals. Right off the bat, I'm using a very pigmented pink color because I'm not going to be adding too much color to blend up into the petals. And along this first layer of petals, the petals that are down towards the bottom are kind of, squished, kind of more abstract looking. It's giving us the illusion that we're looking at it from an angle. And then now as I go in and paint this second layer, the petals are coming more down towards the bottom of where the cactus would be. And so I can make them more of a full looking petal. They don't have to be as side angular, looking. We want a little bit of white space between the different layers of petals so that it gives distinction between the layers. But if there's too much white space, it just looks really clunky. And so it's okay that some of the layers will kind of blend together. So you can see some of those layers blending and not leaving too much white space. We just want the idea, the illusion of the different layers. While that dries, we're going to start on the cactus. I use the side of my brush to paint these strokes. And the first stroke is going to be pretty curved because it's the edge of the cactus. And then as we get to this center stroke I've just painted, it's more straight. These ones start to curve to the right now. And every time I go to paint a new line of the cactus, I'm picking up a different color or I'm adding yellow. I just like to do that to add more dimension and texture. Also make sure to leave white space between the strokes so that it's like the different sections of the cacti. So for this amazing center, it has a ton of stamen and they really just circle around this whole cactus blossom. So the center, the very, very center, doesn't have any stamen. So we're just going around the outside edge, filling it with those little dots, and I'm doing a bright yellow color. And then I'm going in with a more golden yellow color to draw the stamen lines. I'm angling the stamen in towards the center, and I'm doing fewer stamen lines than dots. And then for the very direct center, I'm using a very bright green yellow color and just kind of dabbing it in there to make sure that it gets in the center, but I do not want it to blend in with those yellow dots because it will muddy them up. And now I'm going through and adding a little bit more detail to the cactus blossom flower. And I tried to add a little bit more pigment, but there was too much water on my brush, and so it started to create one of those watercolor blossoms. So the way to fix that is to get a little bit more pigment on your brush and just cover the entire area that you were painting with the same amount of water pigment ratio, and it kind of erases the blossoming effect that's happening, which is what it did here. And then I just continued to add more of that pink pigment for details around the blossom. So now that our cactus is dry, we can add the little spikies, the little pokies on the cactus. And I like to paint them in little bunches, like little V's, or sometimes I'll do like a single one every now and then. And I like to sometimes alter, one side of the V is a little higher than the other. It just keeps it looking really clean when you're doing a lot of little lines to represent spikes. Bunching some of them together just makes it look visually appealing. And so I'm really just using the very, very tippy tip of my paintbrush and very lightly stroking the page to create those spikes. And I'm keeping it really random. You don't want too many, you just want the idea of it. And I'm using a really dark bluish green color, so keeping it within the color family. So now that we have finished practicing our cactus blossom, I am adding it to our watercolor flower guide, and I kind of painted this one to the side. It doesn't have to be directly in the center, and I just love how unique this flower is to our watercolor flower guide. Thank you so much for being here today while we painted day 28 cactus blossom of our 30 days of watercolor flowers. You know I love this one from Arizona. I love all cacti, but I will see you tomorrow for day 29. Bye.